right, here we go. What we got here? What is going on, guys? Davion here, 777's Barbell Club, with an unboxing and a general first impressions and overview of the Avancus Power Shoe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Overall, my lifting shoe journey has been all over the place, from, initially starting lifting and doing things like 531, reading Elite FTS. The thing that was pushed a lot there were Chuck Taylors, so I used Chucks for the longest time. From there, I transitioned to Olympic shoes for a bit. Back to Chuck Taylors and Vans, and that's where I pretty much set for the majority of that time. However, 2 years ago, there were a lot of people talking about, barefoot lifting shoes and things like that. So I was really trying to focus in and see if that was something that maybe I would be comfortable in and like using. However, I'm sure, as most of you know, when you look into those barefoot shoes, especially at the time, the only real options were some of the Vivo barefoot shoes, as well as some New Balance options, and those were pretty expensive. So I was a little bit hesitant on dropping, $130, $150 on some shoes that I wasn't even sure if I was going to like. So upon doing some research, I was able to come across some YouTube channels that were suggesting barefoot training shoes and some cheaper, maybe lower quality options that you can purchase on Amazon. And that actually led me to my first barefoot lifting shoe, which are actually these things. These are the Tesla trail running shoes. And to be honest, these things actually did pretty well. I've had these for about 2 years. So they lasted me 2 years of training, multiple powerlifting meets, untold amounts of training hours. I've even, walked in these things. I did a couple of light trails in these. But overall, I really enjoyed my time with these. However, they are getting a little bit long in the tooth. They're all falling apart. So I'm glad that I was able to try these out before I spent, the money on trying something else out, just to be sure. I believe at the time these were about $40. So, anybody who has been following powerlifting, whether it's through social media, whether it's on YouTube, there's been tons and tons of different barefoot lifting shoes that have come out over the past couple of years. So I know there's the Hunted shoes. There are the notorious lift shoes. I've even used some of the, like the lifting large deadlift slippers. And one of the things that put me off from some of those options were just the top of the shoes didn't feel very sturdy. They didn't feel very strong. So that's what kind of put me off on using those, and what drove me to these shoes. So, as these started falling apart, at the exact same time, I started to see some of those ads and some of the lifters pop up on Instagram talking about these shoes and, them coming out soon. So I guess I can cut all the talking and we can go ahead and open these up and kind of just go over. Now, this is just going to be kind of a little bit of a general overview, me talking about, my initial thoughts opening the shoes. Now, I'm just a regular guy lifting in my garage. There are other much more qualified high-level lifters who have posted videos. David Wilson has some videos out. I think Jamal Browner has some out. There are going to be people who probably are a lot more qualified to give you the minute details of these shoes, but I just want to kind of give you my thought process for these shoes specifically. So let's go ahead and open up this box. And nice orange box. So you can see that Creating Champions there at the front. And let's go ahead and pull these out. So I did go with the black model. There was a part of me that was thinking about potentially going with the white shoes. Maybe I'll buy a second pair if I do like these. But, go with the simple black shoes initially that are going to be able to pretty much match anything. So let me put this box down before it falls down on its own. So I will put a little bit of B-roll over the top of this as well. But I would say first off, I'm liking the way they look. This grip pattern is very interesting. It is the logo, but it's kind of in a cross pattern, so they're going opposite direction. It feels very sticky. Even the top of the shoe feels really well built. Those laces feel pretty good. Some of the things that they kind of really push in the marketing here is going to be kind of that very minimal toe drop here. You have the reinforced toe box area here as well, especially that wide toe box, which is one of the big things for me when I did switch to the barefoot shoes overall. I have very wide feet. So I like to have kind of that additional space, even in, kind of my day-to-day shoes. Anybody who's uncomfortable wearing normal shoes, if you think you have wide feet, go buy a pair of wide shoes, and I promise you it's probably going to change your life. You're going to be much more comfortable. with those shoes. But again here, reinforced toe area, pretty strong, heel cup here as well. One of the other things that I was I would say maybe excited about trying these is just the flatness of the back of the shoe. So if you take a look at most of the barefoot lifting shoes, they kind of have this little bit of a rounded over at the back. And I think I'm pretty stable, but I know some people who maybe pull sumo or anything like that, maybe having kind of that more sturdy sidewall can kind of control you from, that back-to-back rocking that you may deal with. So with these, I'm excited to kind of see, how much more stable I'll feel on the back of these. Going back to my time using Olympic lifting shoes, I lifted in the Nike Romaleos too. And anyone who's used those shoes were bricks. But the back of the heel really came out far. And if you weren't paying attention when you're walking, it might catch on something, but you were very, very stable in the squat the whole way down, or at least for me, because there was really no issues with rocking back. And even with the shoes that I had been using, maybe I felt a little bit of rocking, but nothing as stable as those Romaleos. So I'm definitely excited to kind of see, how these are going to feel. So I guess what I'll go ahead and do is try these on. I'm hoping the sizing is right. That's the one thing with kind of those. I know the European sizing is more accurate, but when you're really used to U.S. sizing, sometimes it's a little bit off. So let me go ahead and throw these on and see how they feel. Okay. Feeling pretty good. I like it. I think sizing is definitely good, and they feel very like stable. They feel very tight. And again, that was something that I dealt with, with trying some of the slippers, and then even these kind of Amazon shoes that I had been using. This is still a very soft mesh upper, and there's not a lot of kind of that sidewall push here. It's very you can easily roll over these, but these the top of it, it feels like a shoe. Like it doesn't feel like a deadlift slipper. It doesn't feel like one of the lifting slippers. It doesn't even feel like, this, as a barefoot shoe. The top of this really feels like an actual shoe. And if I were to tie these down here, yeah, I like these. Just feeling it right off the bat. Like it has a very tight, snug fit. I would say anybody who's played any other sports before. So if you grew up playing basketball, you grew up playing football, like I have, that really kind of tight top of the shoe fit that you get when you really cinch down those cleats. I'm kind of feeling that here. And I said, there's a lot of structural integrity on these shoes. So I'm very excited to give these shoes a try. I'll be giving these a shot in my squat workout later today, which I'll be posting another video on. If you guys have any specific questions about these shoes or anything that you would like to ask me, definitely go ahead and shoot me a ping. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at 777 Barbell Club. But outside of that, guys, that's all that I have for you today. Davion out.